Today's Namaste Yoga begins a brand new series on Shiva. Hello and welcome to episode 143 of Namaste Yoga. Today we are doing an introduction to our Shiva series. I have to tell you that Shiva is the god of destruction, and Shiva has been working his powers already because my Kindle bit the dust this morning. So we're going it old school. Had to print out my lesson notes for today. And it's been kind of interesting working towards getting this series going because it's just sort of felt like one obstacle after another trying to get it going. I have this collection of Shiva stories, a couple of books on Shiva on my Kindle, which went so I couldn't read those. And, well, I had already started reading them, but I couldn't access them to put the classes together. And then this past week has just been, like, brutal for my migraines. And so just haven't been able to film this past week. And it's just been like, what's up with this Shiva? You don't want us to get this series going, or what's going on? So, and today we are trying to get this filming in before thunderstorms are supposed to be happening here, so it's always fun. Oh gosh. So Shiva, here we go. We're doing an introduction. We're going to introduce you to Shiva and what Shiva's all about today. No stories today because they went down with the Kindle. So I want to thank Donna from Squeeze. I got to tell you, Donna is so super happy because every few days she's like, Melissa, another one of your Namaste Yoga people emailed me for clothes, and she just gets so happy about that. She's like, they love you so much. You know how much they love you? So she gets so excited about hearing from you, and she's got some brand new clothes on the way and new designs, and she let me in on one of them. One of them is a new Ganesh top, which is a dancing Ganesh, and it's a big one. It's a 9-inch one, and it's so cute. So I'm super excited about that Ganesh top, and she's doing some new those bamboo long sleeve ones for the fall. So those, I know those of you that have those bamboo long sleeve ones like me live in them because they are so comfortable. So you can check out Donna's clothes at squeeze.ca. And thank you for all of you who donate to Namaste Yoga because that helps us out so much. There are costs associated with running and producing and distributing this free podcast, and we appreciate so much those of you who make donations to Namaste Yoga at melissawest.com. And you can, I love your testimonials. I got this really great one on YouTube this week. Every once in a while, I'll get a testimonial that just touches me right here and then makes me cry, brings tears to my eyes. This one really touched me. So this was from YouTube, so it had a username. I don't even know who sent this one, but it really touched me. So they said, Melissa, your videos are outstanding, not only for the knowledge and skills you are teaching, but because of your unusual demeanor for a yogi. I just love that. I was like, yup, that's true. But what are you going to do? You're going to turn it off when you come? Tim keeps like asking me to be quiet. apparently you do need to turn it down a little bit when you come on camera. So what are you going to do? You're not going to turn it off and not be who you are when you start teaching yoga. You can't be like one person when you're on camera and off camera, because people can smell that a mile away, right? So this person says, your humility, humanity, and total lack of arrogance make you an outstanding teacher and help your message come through clearly without a filter. You are modeling the principle of yoga. Thank you for providing this free of charge to users. So it is free, and we do, though, appreciate your support through your donations and also through your support by other things such as becoming a member, where you get even more content. So we just added new content to the membership site, the Shiva Series, five, which are 5 videos, one for each day of the week, and the members have just completed that because it was Monday through Friday, and today's Friday, and they just love that series. And we added Wave of the Breath, one of the classic videos that I filmed a number of years ago now. It might even be 5 years ago now, because my daughter was in kindergarten then, and she's just starting grade 5. So yeah, that's a great video that we filmed in Cancun, Mexico. Anyway, you can become a member for $8.95 a month or $79.95 a year. That helps us too. And also, we just released that you can get personalized practices designed for you. They are available to you as well. You can go to my website to find out more about that. I'll design a 20-minute practice for you, and you can find out more about that. We also released a brand new video on my shop last week, Yoga for Fibromyalgia. So that's also a great video. That's a digital download for $15. So that's that for this week. So let's learn about Shiva. I'm going to get you to start with your legs up the wall today. So I don't have a wall, but the way you get your legs up the wall is you're just going to put your hips right up against the wall and your butt right at the edge of your mat, and then you swing your legs around and you bring them right up like that. And if you don't have a wall that you can work with, then you can put your legs on a chair. That works just as well. Okay. So let me tell you why we're starting with legs up the wall. Because pretty much everything we're doing today has to do with Shiva and his representation in some way, shape, or form. So if you look closely at Shiva's hair, you will see the goddess Gaensh. So one time the goddess Gaensh was called to the earth to save humanity. But she was so powerful that if she was to fall to the earth without anything to contain her, the force of her fall would destroy humanity entirely. So somebody was needed to catch her. So only Shiva, who was stationed at the peak of Mount Kailash, was strong enough to catch her. It was his long, tangled, matted hair that would provide channels for the river and allow her to distribute her power so no stream would overwhelm the earth. So legs up the wall represents the flow of the river, the Ganges River. So you can imagine that as you're lying with your legs up the wall and receiving the teachings on Shiva, the information on Shiva here. So imagine your legs up the wall, flowing like the Ganges River. So the word Shiva means auspicious one. And Shiva is the destroyer and transformer among the Trinity of Gods. Brahma being the creator, and Vishnu being the preserver. Shiva is the ultimate yogi who lives a life as an ascetic on Mount Kailash. But he is also known as a householder who lives his life with Parvarti and his son Gaensh and Kartikey. He also takes the form as a fearsome warrior and a cosmic dancer. The word Shiva means pure, an auspicious one. One who is not affected by the gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. And it's said that you can be purified by just uttering his name. Shiva is responsible for change in the form of death and destruction, and in the positive form of destroying our egos and false identification with form. Also shedding old habits and attachments. And this is nothing that we need to fear, because in destruction nothing is truly destroyed, but the illusion of individuality. And in destruction, Shiva is a great purifying power. And he helps us to see more clearly reality on a universal level. As a yogi, Shiva represents the art of meditation. And the wanderings and attachments of our minds are dropped. And Shiva reminds us to let go of everything in the world of form. So as you rest with your legs up the wall in the form of Shiva, receiving the goddess of the Ganges River, reflect on what form of Shiva you'd like to most work with in your intention today. So is it in his destructive aspect? Is it in his aspect? And remember, in the destructive, I know our culture just has such a hard time with destruction and death, but destruction is definitely a form of rebirth. So it's in destroying things that we make create the path for the new to come. Is it in his form in relationship? I mean, Shiva and Parvarti are like this beautiful love song together. So they show this perfect union of the divine union of the masculine and the feminine. Or Shiva as the cosmic dancer. Or Shiva as the warrior, the fierce warrior. And we'll work with lots of different forms today. So can maybe start to form your intention of how you're going to work with Shiva today and maybe over the coming weeks. And then take a deep breath in. And let it fall out of your mouth. You can start to wiggle and stretch out. So working with meditation is going to be something we're going to practice over the next few weeks. So we're going to have to get those hips stretched out for sitting. We'll start with that lying on your backs. So bend your knees. Cross your right leg over the top of your left thigh. Open your right knee out to the side. Draw your left leg in. Relax your shoulders. Let your head rest heavy on the ground. Space between your teeth. And then slowly release your left leg and switch sides. So cross your left leg over the top of your right leg. Draw your right leg in and reach through and hold on the back of your right leg. Keep your shoulders heavy. And then you can either roll to your side or rock yourself up. And Shiva, when he sits and meditates on a tiger skin. And that's because one time he was in this one battle, he was battling these demons who were throwing all these things at him, and one thing that came at him was this tiger, and he skinned this tiger alive and he used the tiger skin to sit on it and meditate on it. So that's Shiva. So we're going to do tiger pose today, which is from kneeling. You come onto all fours and then you squat down. And you inhale, you reach your same arm and your same leg. You breathe in. You exhale, you squat down. You inhale, you reach same arm and same leg. Breathe out as you squat down. Inhale, reach same arm and same leg. Breathe out, squat down. Inhale, reach same arm and same leg. So we'll keep going with that. You breathe in through your mouth. Breathe out as you lower down. And it's challenging to balance. Focus. And let's do one more each side. And And then as our counter pose, we'll do pigeon pose to stretch out our hips a little bit more in preparation for some of the standing poses we're doing, and also to prepare us for sitting. So just slide your right knee forward to your right wrist. Bring your right heel over to your left hip bone. Reach your left leg back and long. Fold forward over your bent right leg. And then slowly come back up and onto all fours. And switch sides, so slide your left knee forward to your left wrist. Bring your left heel over to your right hip bone. Reach your right leg back and long. And fold forward over your left bent leg. Breathing. Okay, and then come on back. And this time we're going to come into downward facing dog. So spread your fingers really wide, tuck your toes under, inhale. Exhale and come into downward facing dog. And then make your way up to standing. Okay, from standing, in Shiva's hair, there is a crescent moon. So this crescent moon comes from the story of the turning of the ocean of the nectar of immortality. So we'll get to this story, but basically the gods and the demons were fighting over the nectar of immortality, and this churning of the ocean, and out of the ocean first came this poison, and it was poisoning everybody. And so Shiva took the poison and swallowed it, and that's why Shiva's throat is blue, and Shiva's depicted as blue sometimes. And this poison was really hot, and it burned him, and so the moon came. Oh, an eagle. Cool. Oh. Cool. So the moon came and stayed in his hair to cool Shiva from the poison. So we're going to do just a little bit of crescent moon pose, just some side bending here. So take your hands overhead and inhale, exhale and do a side bend. And then inhale back up center. And same thing to the other side. That crescent moon shape. Okay, and then come back up to center and lower your hands down. So one of the other great things about Shiva that Shiva represents is the relationship between the Shiva and Shakti, the divine masculine and feminine, as is represented in his household relationship between Shiva and Parvarti. So today I chose the eagle's pose to represent that intertwining of the masculine and feminine energy, the way there's so much overlapping in that pose. So stand on your right leg, cross your left leg over, and you can keep your left leg on the ground if you want, or you can hook it all the way. Bring your right arm up, hook your left arm underneath it. So to me, this pose today, we're representing the intertwining between the masculine and feminine energies. And we just saw an eagle. Go ahead and release. We'll do this pose on the other side. So this time you'll stand on your left leg, bend your left leg, cross your right leg over. You can either place your right leg on the ground or hook it. Bring your right arm up, hook your left arm underneath. So the Shiva and Shakti, the intertwining of the divine feminine and masculine energies, the perfect union. And Shiva and Parvati, they just had this beautiful relationship. They had this beautiful marriage. And then also, they loved discussing philosophy. Apparently, Shiva taught Parvati yoga. He would teach her the philosophy and she would help him apply it. So he was known for his esoteric wisdom and she would help him apply it in life. Because he would sit on the mountains meditating and it was she who brought him into the real world. Beautiful union between the two of them. Beautiful love story. Okay, and then release. Maybe shake that out a little bit. And then we're, of course, going to do Natarajasana, dancer pose for the cosmic dancer today. So stand on your left leg, bend your right leg, reach around and hold on to your ankle or the back of your foot. Take your left arm up. Roll your right shoulder back and down. Draw your right leg away. So this pose is, Shiva does this dance that is, there's this fire that goes all around. And again, this fire represents a fire that destroys to create rebirth. And in this, you guys have seen maybe this picture of Shiva as the Nataraj. If not, you should look it up. Go on Google Images and look it up. because he stands on a dwarf. And this represents him destroying our egos. Okay. And yeah, he crushes the demon of ignorance and he releases the devotees from earthly bondage. Let's do this on the other side. So stand on your right foot this time. Bend your left leg. Tuck your tailbone under. Extend your right arm. Draw your left heel away from your buttocks. Keep your knee in towards your midline. Focus on something that's not moving. Okay, go ahead, release. Shake it out. Okay. So, one of my favorite stories about Shiva is where he comes as Parvati's knight in shining armor in his fierce form as a warrior. So, Parvati's family has this party, and they purposely don't invite Shiva. So it's really bad news. It's in really bad form, and everybody knows it. Anyway, Parvati goes to the party without him, and then at the party they start insulting him. So Shiva finds out about this, and he comes to the party in her defense. So we're going to do the warrior. Well, at the party, actually, Parvati throws herself into the fire in a fit of despair, and she actually ends up killing herself. It's a terrible story. We've told it before on Namaste Yoga, but we'll probably tell it again in this series. So let's do Warrior 1 for this fierce aspect of Shiva, where Shiva is quite a temper, and it comes out that day. So let's do Warrior 1. Stand at the top of your mat. You're going to step back with your right foot. Keep your hips facing the front of your mat. Bend your front left knee, sink down through your left sit bone. Bring your arms straight up. And find a way to let this posture out of your body. We'll do this on the other side. So this time keep your right foot at the front of your mat. Take a big step back with your left foot. Sink down through your front right sit bone. Hips face the front of your mat. Find the outside edge of your back left foot and reach your arms straight up. Great. And release this pose from your body. Shake out your legs and come down to lie on your stomach. Okay, so Shiva wears snakes around his neck. And I believe in the same story where he takes the tiger and he skins it and sits on it, they throw snakes at him and he just puts them around his neck because they say that he is beyond the power of death and poison. And also the snakes stand for Kundalini energy as well. So we're going to do Cobra pose. So lie on your stomach. And let's create some nice length in your low back. I like to do this one where you tuck your right toes under, lift your knee, reach back through your right heel. It creates lots of space in your low back. Let's do it on the other side too. Tuck your left toes under, lift your left knee, reach back through your left heel. Press the front of your pelvis into the ground. Your hands are underneath your shoulders. Roll your shoulders back and up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale and lift your chest off the ground. And just lift up as high as is comfortable for you today without there being any pinching in your low back. Keep your ears back over your shoulders. Elbows in tight to your body. And then slowly lower down. And push yourself up and back into child's pose, unless child's pose bothers you. And if it does, you can always lie on your back with your knees and into your chest. Okay, and then slowly roll up to seated. And from seated, you're going to sit cross-legged. Okay, so from seated, we'll just do a little twist. Sink down through your sit bones, lengthen up through your spine, relax your shoulders down. Take your left hand to the outside of your right knee and twist. Breathe your navel back towards your spine. Take a deep breath in. And exhale and come back to center. Breathing in. Breathing out. Okay, so let's go to the other side. Breathe in. Breathe out. Take your right hand to the outside of your left knee. Take your left hand to the base of your spine. And then breathe in. And breathe out. Come back to the center. Okay. So we're going to sit in meditation to finish today. And Tim's going to time us. 5 minutes, yeah. We're going to sit with the Shiva Lingam mudra. I want you to give us a nice close-up on the Shiva Linga bracelet that I have. So these are Shiva Lingams. And in our culture, I think phallic symbols have just been so bastardized. But in Indian culture, they're really beautiful. So this is a Shiva Lingam. And represents the creative male force. And you might snicker and chuckle in our culture, in North American culture, but it's the creative male force. And we're going to do a mudra today. And this is the Shiva Lingam. And it's going to rest in your right hand. It makes the Shiva Lingam. And the left hand is going to be the female, the yoni underneath. So it's very phallic. There's no doubt about it. But it's the coming together of the Shiva and the Shakti that is this beautiful creative force that's represented in the stories in the Hindu mythology between Shiva and Parvarti. And in Shiva's in Shiva worship with the Shiva Linga. So this is the Shiva Linga. And this is a very energizing mudra. So we'll sit, left hand creates the yoni, right hand creates the linga. And we'll sit like this for 5 minutes. Sink down to your sit bones, lengthen up through your spine. Relax your shoulders down, bring your ears back over your shoulders. Focus on your breathing. So gradually allow your breath to deepen. Wiggle and stretch out. So thank you for joining us for episode 143 of Namaste Yoga. You may want to lie down and rest back for Shavasana for 5 to 10 minutes. And hopefully this week I'll get my Kindle situation sorted out so I can get access to my Shiva stories for our Shiva series. So I'll see you next week. Namaste.